Everything initially is under immediate embargo, and then we'll see how we get to after that. We've got some Saturday papers and some Sunday papers, and a lot of our friends from Denmark are here for a little bit at the end. Those of you from Denmark, obviously you can hear and understand everything that's in English, so there's no need to ask the same questions just to get it in Danish. I'm sure Christian will appreciate your time. No rules about who's going first, so anyone who wants to can fire away.
Christian Eriksen from ITV. How does it feel being back at a club knowing you could be about to have your first game?
No, first of all, very nice. I mean, it's something that I've spent a lot of time working towards and doing a lot of testing to be able to be where I am today. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, it's getting closer and closer by, so I do feel on my head and on my body that the excitement and adrenaline is coming more and more towards game time.
Sorry to ask you this because I know you've been asked it before, but what do you remember from the incident?
Everything apart from the 5 minutes where I was not there. Otherwise, I remember everything from the throw-in being thrown at me hitting the ball on the knee part, and then after waking up, looking around with people around me, giving me the treatment, and then really from there I remember everything.
Just finally, mentally for you and for your family, how difficult has it been getting over this?
No, difficult. I mean, we've taken the time we needed. That's also why I've been doing no press, no nothing, really just being focused on family time, getting back to a normal life from what had happened before. Of course, it was not normal after, because obviously our life was normally a football life, and now we had a lot of time to spend with each other and really talk about everything and be there for the kids. But no, it's been, of course, it's been tough. I mean, mostly for my family and for people around me, because obviously I have no men from what's happened. So it's also weird at the same time, because I don't feel the pain that people are feeling towards me. So that was the most important, the difficult part to understand, that people are going through a lot that I didn't go through.
Ian?
Any anxiety? Welcome back.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Any anxiety about returning to action? I mean, if that would happen to people, they may be anxious about going back on a football pitch, despite the amount of tests you've had and everything. Is there any anxiety in your mind at all about going back and playing again?
No, I think if there was any anxiety, I wouldn't go back. I mean, if I wasn't be fully committed and feel like I'm trusting the doctors, I'm trusting my heart, I'm trusting my ICD in me, then I wouldn't go back. So no, I feel 100% secure to go back.
How much of a part did Thomas play in your company here, and the fact that you know some of the players from the Denmark national team, and how much perhaps do the medical staff here, will they be treating you slightly differently to any other footballer?
No, first of all, I think being on the phone with Thomas, of course, was early on in December, and we went through everything. He knew then at that time how far I was from being able to train with the team, and really kept in contact about everything, and had a good few phone calls, and then of course through also with the club and everything. So no, he was very important. I mean, it's one of the good conversations I had with the coach, who obviously wanted me to come here if it was possible, and at the time it's a perfect mix for me as a football player, also for the family.
Just one last one. I mean, I know Denmark's your home, but this is like your second home. You spent so long here with Spurs.
Yeah.
Was it always going to be, if you couldn't carry on in Italy, you wanted to come back to England?
Since the incident or before?
Yeah, since the incident.
I would say before. I was not planning on coming back to England. That was not on my mind. But no, after the incident, I think it became clearer and clearer the longer it went on that I couldn't play in Italy because of the ICD I have. And then of course my mindset of course changed, that if I can't be in Italy, then I think the best option would be England in the Premier League, being in a London club, also for the family, was the perfect mix.
We'll have this chap here and then Carrie.
You keep on mentioning your family. It's been very difficult for them. How big a part did they play in encouraging you through what's obviously been a very difficult 6 months?
I think it was more me encouraging them. I mean, of course, like I said, it was them who had seen stuff and have the thoughts that I didn't have. So it's really more of I think from anyone who's had it, I think they know that I'm speaking of the same, that you feel more pain from people around you than you do yourself, because obviously I felt fine after. So yeah, no, I think they were acceptable really quick, and they've really been very supportive, and been very open about everything, really leaning on each other.
And will they be there for your first game?
Of course they'll be there. I think the rest of the world will be there also.
Christian, just going through the last week of training, pulling on your boots, feeling the mud under your studs, coming back into the dressing room, was there a moment that it really grabbed you that you were back, and how that all felt for you? Could you talk us through?
Yeah, no, I think it started a little bit in even before when I trained at Ajax, won the first few sessions with a group at Young Ajax in Amsterdam. I mean, that was one of the first time I thought, football boots on, teammates around me. I can pass the ball, I can play the ball, not only to myself but also to somebody else. And then of course walking into Brentford, it felt professional in the first day. And like you said, exactly getting the boots on in an environment where you feel like this is 100% football, everyone is here for football and that's it. And getting a contract obviously was a big part of it. And no, I was very pleased. I'm very happy that Brentford gave me the opportunity to play here.
I know this is a big motivation for you, but it's just over 280 days to the World Cup in Qatar. What would it mean to you to have the opportunity to pull back on a shirt in a major tournament? How big a motivation is that for?
No, a big one. Some of the first things I told my my heart doctor at the time, said if I want to come back, I want to do it. My aim is I want to be fit before the World Cup, that I have a chance to be there if everything goes well, and luckily it goes well. So now it's really building up every day training, and then hopefully at some point when it fits for me and for the coach to see when I can play some minutes. But then at the time, of course, there's still a lot of months for the World Cup, a long wait. So until then, I'll be doing what I can to be as fit as possible, of course.
Thomas is a great friend of your national coach. They've known each other for 20 years. Thomas has just said you've been a joy to watch in training, that in just 1 week he's already seeing the qualities that we know you have in football. What's that like to you?
No, that's very nice. I think he's polite. I think he's probably lying a little bit to you guys, but no, that's his thoughts. It's been a warm welcome from him and from the whole club and for his staff. I mean, they're very polite, and of course, for me getting into football, I do think if you ask him from the first session, he would say, "I don't remember that one." But ever since, I mean, the football stuff will come back quickly, and I feel good. So of course, it takes a little bit of time to get used to everything.
Sean?
Hi, Christian.
Oh.
Obviously, everything that happened in the last year makes this story even bigger. Even if you weren't in factor in what's happened, this is still a pretty big story. You're probably the biggest name to have played for Brentford, to have signed for Brentford. How does it feel to already be such a huge figure in this club's history without even playing a game?
Weird. Because obviously I didn't think of that before I signed for Brentford. I really just had one thing in mind. It was the perfect mix for me as a footballer and as a family man. Was the perfect mix. And then afterwards, of course, I've seen how the club reacts to people around, the fans, the media. I think it helps and it makes it even bigger. But no, I'm pleased. I'm happy that Brentford gave me the chance to be able to sit here today and be speaking about a game hopefully soon.
It's also a very different sporting challenge for you. You know, at Ajax, Spurs, Inter, you're always competing at the top of the table. So I imagine a lot of players at Brentford will probably look up to you as a leader in terms of just your technical ability, and to look to lead you as a leader by example. Is that a responsibility you're relishing?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I want to come in and first of all help the club and help the teammates to stay in the Premier League. I think, of course, it's a big aim for the club after the first year in the Premier League to show that you're capable of staying there. So definitely I'll do what I can to help them stay up and also, of course, help the teammates. But they know if they have any questions or they want to know anything, they can always ask.
Ahmed?
Hi, Christian. Good to see you. Obviously, we know the Premier League's intensity is at its highest level right now. Do you feel like on your return to action in the next month or so, you'd be able to ready to play 90 minutes on the pitch?
I think it's a build-up progress. I mean, from not playing any minutes in the last 8 months, I think it would be a bit hectic to play 90 in the first game. I think also for my body that wouldn't be the best option. So there'll definitely be a build-up with minutes and game time. But hopefully before long I'll play 90 minutes, yes.
Obviously, you're arguably one of the greatest playmakers in Premier League history. So after such a long absence, do you feel like you have to prove yourself again to the footballing world that you have that world-class ability still with you now?
Yeah, I think first of all it's more of a... I felt from the beginning of this that I felt like I need to prove that you can play with an ICD, and if something that bad has happened, I mean you can be returning to a normal life afterwards, and that's more motivation for me to show that I'm capable of that. And then of course I think at the same time after what has happened, I haven't forgotten how to play football. My body is still the same, and my vision and my ability will still be the same, so that hasn't changed. And then of course it's just about really kicking on and getting used to the teammates and falling into the rhythm of the team.
Thanks, Christian.
Welcome.
Hi Christian, it's Jay from the Athletic here. Just want to start by saying it's great to have you back in the Premier League. Welcome to Brentford, and I believe you're turning 30 on Monday, so happy birthday for that.
Thank you. I think.
Tomorrow's February 12th, exactly 8 months after what happened. That moment when you get introduced to the fans at the Brentford Community Stadium tomorrow, is that the moment where you draw a line under everything that's happened?
Depends on you guys. I mean, depends what the focus will be on. I think it will never be, as long as I would wish it, in the one way, of course, it would never be forgotten what has happened. I do hope that it's brought something positive with it, that a lot of people have focus on it now. And I know in England, even in Denmark, there's a lot of extra defibrillators and stuff to help other people who get it, who get that some heart problems or anything. But no, I think with time it's definitely going to be about the footballer and not the guy who did something last summer. It'll be about the football in the next game, that he can't pass the ball, he can pass the ball, or he can't, or he missed this big chance, or he's bad, and so on. No, I can't wait to get back to that.
Also just wanted to ask you, Brentford were already in League 2 13 or so years ago. They've been on this massive journey, so how much did you kind of know about the club before Thomas spoke to you, and then where do you kind of vision yourself in the club's journey going forward? And obviously, best of luck.
I knew of the club obviously when a lot of the Danish people came in. Then the Danish media picked up a bit about Brentford, and then I read a bit through there, and then I had some friends who played at Brentford. I still remember getting him a lot of tickets for the games at Wembley when I was at Spurs for a lot of the Brentford guys. But yeah, so I've been following it a bit and seeing a lot of the players, and obviously ever since they, I think was it 3 years ago when they lost the player final, the year after they won it to get up. So I mean they've been on a journey themselves, and to be in the Premier League it's special, and obviously I hope they stay here.
Right, we've got anything else for immediate embargo?
Can I ask a couple more? When do you expect to be playing again? When do you expect to be building?
Good question. I don't know.
What do you still want to achieve with your career?
No, I think what I want to achieve, I want to achieve being able to come back to play professional football, to show that I'm still the same player as before. And then that's really the achievement, and then be as good as possible, really.
Just final question, I promise. Was there a point in those first minutes and those first days when you thought, that's it, my career is over?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it was being in the ambulance. It was, I even told the medical people, keep my boots, I won't need them. And then I would say the same to Sabrina, my fiance, a few days later. And then I also told her, it might change if everything goes well, and what I've heard with the ICD and the diagnosis and whatever, that the docs can clear me and say it's good, then I might come back to play football. So that's really that changed quickly, but then in the end it was a long progress to be where I am today, to get the full green light, to really be convinced that I'm capable and able to play.
So just one last thing on the ICD. In terms of you're playing in this country in the Premier League with it, do you see yourself as a bit of a trailblazer for that? So that God forbid it ever happened something again and they needed what you've got, they could still have a pathway back into football?
No, I mean it's here for my protection. I mean it's in me, because if anything would happen again to me, then nobody's in. There's no really need for a defibrillator, because I'll have my own. So it's really just extra security. In a way, I'm more protective here than you guys, and that's also how I feel. I mean, I feel very protective with it. And Yeah, no, I feel normal. Like I don't feel it in any annoying way. Only if you go through the airport, I have to go around instead of going through a scanner, and and that's it.
Right, we have one more from Carrie, then we'll move on to the newspapers.
Just looking to Denmark, what would be your message to all the Danish football fans and maybe the fans over the world? And what conversations have you had with Kasper about returning?
No, nothing. First with Kasper, I've spoke to Kasper a lot of times, obviously, in a lot on the after it happened. Followed them very closely every game, even in the qualification games afterwards. But when they come back, I don't know. First of all, I need to focus on playing and see if I can be good enough for the Danish national team. And now for the message for the people, I mean, I think most of them have seen my interview with the different TV channels, that I'm feeling good and feeling ready to go back into playing. Otherwise, I wouldn't sit here. And yeah, no, thank you for all the flowers and all the thoughts.
Right, everything from now, embargo until 10:30 on